Hi, everybody. It's Neal Brennan's The Box Podcast. My guest today, I've known for about 30 plus years. He's got a new tour called the Wild Child Tour, and he's got a Amazon special called Good Grief. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest today, Mr. Marlon Wayans.
I've asked Neal many a times if he wanted to produce one of my terrible shows, and he's always wise enough to be like, no,
thank you.
I'm busy.
Okay. So let's get into it. You have legitimate blocks. I don't want to say you have white blocks, but I'm very happy to see the potential racial crossover we can do with this, the reparation work we can do with this. Okay. All of them are surprising, given what it looked like publicly. Your first block is anxiety.
Yeah.
From my point of view, you were sort of Keenan and Damon come out here, they clear the land, and then it looked like you and Sean were able to walk in and have it easier. I'm sure it wasn't easy, but it looked easier than for a lot of people. And you have anxiety, and I'm wondering, like, how did that play against all the things that were happening? Because
perception isn't reality.
Yeah.
It was hard on Damon and Keenan, two black men in that era trying to make
those guys. I have so much respect. Townsend,
especially when it was only slot for one. It was Eddie.
Yep.
And all these other guys was fighting to find
endless
their way.
Respect.
Yes. So it was hard for Keenan and Damon. But when me and Sean came out, at least they had, before the world met Keenan and Damon, they had 20 years to hone their craft. 20 years to hit the stages. 20 years to figure out the science.
Right.
That goes with our art.
How to be funny in public consistently.
Yes.
They got to practice.
And how to, what's the structure?
Yep.
If I'm doing these characters, where's this character going? What's the obstacles in his way? What's funny about that through his voice?
Keenan one time gave, and I'm sure he's told you the same advice, Hollywood Shuffle, he had a bunch of sketches.
Yeah.
And Robert put structure on it that made it a movie.
Yes.
And Keenan said, because people would rather watch a good movie than a funny movie.
Right.
Which I think about all the time.
It's true. And it's funny because when I approach like stand-up, I approach it like Keenan and Robert had a conversation.
Yeah.
So I go like, Keenan, what's funny? This funny stuff.
Right.
Funny stuff. This is funny. How does it then? Oh, damn, this is ridiculous. And then I go, how does that connect? And how do I have a story that's meaningful that people go, oh, wow, now I'm in a movie and I'm rooting for that character.
Yeah.
And he got all these things that he's doing. So it's kind of like I meet the meaning of the mind. But
so were you aware of the difficulty? Like you must have been aware of the judgment in early 90s. You get on In Living Color.
Oh, there they are. They're over here, Luther. Man, I hope she ain't up.
And then you get your own sitcom on the WB.
That was the part I wasn't aware of. I thought the white man was going to be the problem. I thought trying to make it in Hollywood was going to try and be the problem. That actually wasn't the problem. The problem was Sean and I didn't get, it was the scrutiny from other people. But Sean and I didn't have...
Black people. Go ahead.
We didn't have 20 years to develop. I was 19, straight out of high school, 1 year of college. Did stand up maybe 10 times before Chris heckled me and made me quit.
Which is the centerpiece of your HBO. What's the name of the HBO special?
God Loves Me.
Yeah, God Loves Me. It's the centerpiece. You basically use Will slapping Chris as like the centerpiece of your own story, and it works great.
Thank you.
That had nothing to do with Will, nothing to do with Jada, nothing to do with Chris. It's my fault.
All true, by the way.
Yeah,
everything.
I had a joke about Chris shitting on me. Like it's Chris.
Chris
will shit on you.
I know Chris, right? Chris does it in jest. He didn't know he doing it.
Yeah,
he don't know that. He just says it, man. And you're like, wow, that was bone crushing. He just keep on going, and you're just like, but at a point, if you could sit and listen to what he's saying, you go, oh, okay. Once I transpose that, I understand what you mean.
After a decade of pain.
Or two.
Yeah, exactly.
But he had it hard because he had all those, my brothers, he had Eddie, he had all these people coming down on him. And he's just like, come on, man. He's this little.
He does.
skinny
Rock will do a
kid.
thing where he'll insult you, and then he'll go, you know, one time Eddie said, da-da-da-da. Like the word, like the father of, you know, that's not the first time that an insult's been lobbed at somebody. One time Eddie said, so
yeah, when he said it, I thought about suicide. All right, so when I came to Hollywood, the anxiety for me was the hate from all the other people. Like, why are they getting that opportunity? They're not ready, and we wasn't. But when what Sean and I had was great instincts. Like, we've been writing and creating and
you're
developing.
also very good looking, and you're a very
that
energetic.
would be Sean. I'm just.
I've always thought you're better looking than Sean.
I'm fuckable.
And I'll tell.
No,
I get him on the
Sean's
phone.
way better.
Like
looking.
he gets more girls than you.
I wished I woke up as Sean.
That's interesting.
Like, if I looked in the mirror and I could be Sean, I'd be like, yo.
I gotta be honest, I'm fucking you first. And the shit goes down.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I'm fucking you first.
Thank you, man.
So you were aware. So what did? So but that didn't make you anxious.
Well, it did. The anxiety came in knowing that we didn't have the wind beneath our wings.
You didn't have chops, so to speak.
Experience.
Yeah.
You don't have.
Yeah.
You don't know how to do it until you really log those 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
Then you're like, oh, I'm in the matrix. It's moving slowly. Oh, I can connect this number with that.
Yeah.
It takes a long time for that to happen.
When would you say is the peak of your anxiety?
It's been there the whole time. It doesn't.
So it's like it's a low grade, constant hum.
Not anymore.
Okay.
When I first came out, the anxiety was because I would go on stage and I would rip, but I couldn't remember my act because I never wanted to do the same material. I don't want to be the guy that's doing the same material for fucking 10 years, touring that material. I was like, no. I want to do it and create something brand new every night. And that doesn't happen. That is not the art. So then when I ran out of things to say, I was like, oh, what else is funny? And I can't hold on to my material. And not only that, but the anxiety for me before I even hit the stage was when you do stand-up, you pull from your life. Well, in my life, there's 5 niggas in my family that's doing it before me.
Right.
They've told every story. What the fuck do I have to say? But then what happens is over the course of experience, you learn, wait a second, it's like going up in a comedy club every night. Everybody got a Trump joke, or everybody has a sex joke. Everybody has a relationship story. Everybody has a mom and dad abuse story, whatever, right? Everybody got their own shit. And what you learn as a comedian is your story and your point of view is what's important.
Right.
It's not about the topic. It's not about, it's what affects you. And when you talk about the things that really affect you and your pain and you make that shit funny, that's something nobody can ever.
So you were aware of being anxious, being sort of the 4th person up in this 5th person up in this family.
Yeah.
And were you conscious of it, or you just thought like, I'm a little jumpy or whatever? Was it like?
No, I thought that.
And this was not just about stand-up. It was about everything.
It was mostly stand-up.
Okay.
It was mostly the art. Like in life, I don't have a lot of like, I got certain hangups or whatever, but like when it comes to like anxiety like that, there's bouts. So stand-up was one. Then the anxiety of being Keenan and Damon's little brother and and then when me and Sean had our show, what I've learned was to take my anxiety and turn it into excitement.
Okay.
Because the performer in me drowns the human being. And when the performer drowns the human being, he takes over. And so there is no fear.
Is that good that it drowns the human being?
I'm still here. I ain't.
You're right. But is it like there's a human cost? Is it one of those things of like, where's Marlon?
No, I think it's a great survival. It was one of the greatest, for me, that is Marlon, right? Is the fact that I think everybody has the giant that comes to rescue the scared little boy, right? And when you're dealing with anxiety or those kind of things that cripple you, I have this superhero that comes, swoops me up, and is like, yo, we're going. Nobody's gonna touch you. And that is the hyper energy.
What other ways were you anxious?
I got really anxious when my mother died.
That was recent, right? In the last 5 years?
Yeah. I couldn't sleep.
How come? When did your father die?
My father died last year.
Oh, okay. So
when he died, I was like, yeah, nigga, death.
What do you think the difference is? Because men are just like soldiers, and it's just like, yeah, we serve together. But my mom is like my mom.
My mom was just that person. My mother was like just this big, bright person. It's like a person that you're never going to see another. My mother was Prince.
Yeah.
My mother was Michael Jackson. My mother was Martin Luther King. My mother was somebody huge. She wasn't a small light. And everybody in my family, my mother was gone. It wasn't like some little divot from a golf ball.
Right.
It was like a meteor came in from, and a meteor the size, 2 sizes the size of Earth came and crashed down and just shattered all of us.
And the anxiety you think was?
Well, as a kid, I used to have anxiety because I never wanted to die.
Okay.
I have FOMO. I love life. And I hate the fact that when I die, that people are going to be living and having fun, and I'm going to be in a box somewhere. Fucking bothers me. I don't want to be in a box. Like, burn me outside.
Yeah.
Freeze me. A death gives me anxiety. So when my mother died, I was riddled with anxiety because that was the life of the party. And it's like, even your mother goes. And you're like, wait, hold on.
If your
this
mom
ain't
goes.
a joke. This happens to all of us.
Yeah.
And it fucked me up. And I couldn't sleep for maybe 2.5 years. I would drink myself to sleep. I would drink my whiskey, or I got introduced to whiskey. And I would just down my Abalone or have my scotch or my Macallan, or it would go with Chappelle, the Nika coffee, or the Biggie. And what happened was, then I started therapy again. When I started therapy, I didn't have one doctor. I have 2 that I speak with, a female.
Play them against each other?
Yeah.
You know what she says.
Yeah, because sometimes as a man, I could be an arrogant asshole. I can have my machismo and the woman gives you a different perspective, and sometimes they champion you for having those things, those egos, those things that protect you or build you. Like, no, you're fine to feel that. And what happened was, you're like, why would you have 2? Because I was in a couples therapy, and then the girl left. So I was left by myself.
So it didn't go that. It didn't work.
Oh, she left. She was like, I'm out.
Middle of a session?
Yeah, no way. She was like, they didn't agree with what she said. She was like, I'm out.
That's hilarious.
No, they against me. So they help heal my anxiety.
What did you figure out with the mom stuff? It was the life of the party thing. It was the, if she dies, that means like,
yeah.
Because I always think, because I'm the youngest of 10, I always think about how many people, how many people, if nature is correct, the amount of funerals.
You got a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, their nieces and nephews and all that stuff, but like, you just kind of go like, God damn, that's not going to be easy.
It's going to be very hard.
Yeah.
And my brothers, I love them. And they, I remember one time, man, and being a baby, I don't know about your family, but my family, you're not the baby, you're the butt of every joke. So
I was the baby.
But you was the funny one.
Right. Yeah.
So you joked on everybody, and that was like your defense mechanism. I was just the guy that just got
pummeled.
Yeah. But I learned to take a good joke. And my brothers had me on the Emmy in a little suit, and they tricked me because I was supposed to do a sketch with them, and they was wearing these expensive suits. And I was like, yo, fuck that. I ain't got the money for that. I just did more money. I only had like, $10,000. They was like, yo, buy this dope suit. I'm not going looking like a bum.
That was Keenan. You were just doing Keenan.
This is Damon. I'm not going looking like a bum. Sean, you cheap. Don't be cheap. Buy a suit. I was like, I don't have the money. How about this? We go rent a cheap tuxedo and then a little one, and then I'll come out looking like Urkel, and you guys will make fun of my tuxedo. And I kept bothering about doing this sketch, so they all call each other. Damon's like, yo, Mom keep bothering me about this stupid suit. He being cheap. I think what we should do is we should do his little sketch, but not do it. Oh, that's fucked up, but that's funny. And so they had me on a sketch, and they said, And then I was supposed to come out and go, this would go, and hey everybody, welcome to Wayans Brothers, Keenen and Sean. And then they go, hey, where's Marlon? And I come around the corner like Frasier, not Frasier, what was the dude from Seinfeld? Kramer, like
yeah.
in this little suit. And then they were supposed to rag my suit. Instead, they go, hey, where's Marlon? And I come out with the little suit, and my brothers look at my suit and they just go, and the nominees are. And on the Emmys, in front of 60 million people, I said, oh, shit.
Did you ever hear that story? It's literally just coming back to me that Keenen ordered something COD to Arsenio's house.
Yeah, I forgot what that was. But I remember they used to always
there was
do
a thing where you could order stuff and it was cash on delivery. Yep. So Keenen ordered something for Arsenio and made Arsenio like thousands of dollars, and he didn't have the money. Like, so fucking funny.
Eddie, one time, Murphy went over Keenan's house. He had this Celica, this Toyota Celica, and Eddie walked on top of it and jumped on the top of the roof. It was like, you cheap nigga, buy some new shit. But my point is, with the Emmy, with the little suit, I have a lot of funerals to plan.
Yeah.
And they got me that night, and I was so mad. I was hurt. And I was promised myself that I'm going to pay him back, so I'm going to be the last one to die.
Great.
I'm going to take a picture
Tiny
of
casket.
every last single one of these niggas in that little ass suit.
Great.
In the little suit looking crazy. And I'm going to have a collection before I die, and I'm put it in my coffin. So
yep. And everyone's going to, what are the Emmys? What? And then how did you, so you dealt with the anxiety in therapy about mom, and then you were saying you were also
and working out, and then I just recently did this movie, Him, and it's a Jordan Peele produced movie, Monkey Paw production, and what's his name is Justin Tipping is directing. He's a great director, and it's a really like dark role.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as I was taking a deep dive to find his character, I saw me, and I was broken, and I was
why are you broken?
All the death I've
right
been through. You know, my last special, I call it Good Grief, because I've lost 57 people, now 60 people that I love. And it's like, it breaks
61.
you. 60. 62.
Horrible.
I'm a Wayans. But yeah, man, it was hard.
The mom was like the worst.
My mother's death broke me. My father's death, weirdly enough, was the beginning of me putting myself back together. And then God gave me this movie, Him. And then I did the work, and I found myself when I dove to get the character. I looked up, I seen me floating, like literally, I seen an image of me floating face down in the pool. And I said, after I get this character, I'm going to go get him, and I'm going to go resuscitate that person and bring him back to a better version of himself.
What do you think happens?
What do you mean?
When you die?
I don't know, but I know this shit ain't happening. I think you're just dead.
Oh, you don't believe in anything?
No. Anybody ever come back from death like, nigga, you gotta come. You gotta get here.
Right.
This shit dope.
People don't come back for shit. People don't come, if somebody's, I just don't think, my own personal, did you grow up religious?
Yeah.
Jehovah's Witness?
Yeah.
And do you still?
I wasn't, my dad was.
Right. And do you still, did you just leave and were like?
My dad was a devout Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah.
And like he said his last prayer, like before he died.
Yep.
It's been a year. I ain't seen him at all.
Okay. So I
thought God, if anybody's going to rescue anybody, God was going to get him.
Yeah.
So he lived a perfect life.
Did you ever believe in anything?
Yeah.
And what happened?
I used to believe in resurrection and all these things, and it hasn't happened in my lifetime. So it's not that I believe in God. I believe that, we're here by some higher power, some force. I hope our spirits commute to somewhere else and travel in a different body. And I hope I remember this life, because I really like this life that I'm living.
Yeah, you got to be fucking Marlon Wayans. Did you, so the anxiety from death is you're just afraid, you don't want it to end. Do you miss the people, and do you feel bad for the people that have died?
I feel bad. I miss the people, and and when I die, I'm gonna be sad about how much they're gonna miss me, because I'm the life of the party. I'd be like, I don't know how my kids are gonna survive. I'm like, oh, you're fucked.
You are a great partier. I will say that. The few times I've partied with you, you are great at it.
Thank you.
You're very active. You're very social. He's a great person to party with. If you get a chance,
have a good time.
Okay, so there's anxiety, and which is at you've got it under control.
It's under control for now.
Okay,
but I'm pretty sure at some point, you know. And then I also did some things to help with my anxiety. Okay, about a year ago, I reached out to Gary Brecka, and he used to be a phlebotomist for the insurance companies, and he would tell you,
Gary Brecka.
Yeah, he would tell you when you're gonna die. Like in 10 years, he told Dana White, you got like 10 years, 10.1 years, something like that, and you're gonna die.
I mean, so Dana had a common precursor for cardiovascular disease called metabolic syndrome.
And when I went to him, I got my methylation done.
64. Dana White is dead. Go ahead. Okay, so you went and got your blood work done.
Yeah, and my methylation test, and I found out that I have the MTHFR genetic dysfunction, and that means that I overproduce folic acid. So I can't eat foods that sprayed with folic acid. I can't eat rice. I can't eat grains. I can't eat like anything that's enriched wheat. I cannot have. And I made these changes to my diet, and it's really helped quell the thoughts that I used to have. I'm sleeping so much better, bro.
Yeah.
So much better. Yeah. So much better.
You don't drink at night and shit?
I don't have to.
Great.
Now I get this other thing, REM sleep.
Uh-huh.
It's by Healthy Cell. REM sleep. You're talking about a
pill.
No, it's a liquid.
Oh.
And you don't wake up feeling crazy or groggy or like you've been raped. It's never happened. Okay, my point.
I don't hang out with Bill Cosby like you do.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Not after what the things are out on the street. Okay, so you take that and you sleep better.
Sleep great. And
what about depression? Another block. He has depression, everybody.
I only hit depression. I've been pretty happy my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mother died. With anxiety, it was holding depression's hand. And so it was about a good 3 years. It took to my father's death for me to go, all right, we got to get out of this.
What were you like as a depressed person relative to what you think you're supposed to be like?
I think I was just more somber. Mm-hmm. I just laid around a lot. I had a belly.
Do you smoke weed? Do you do that?
I didn't at the time because I was drinking.
Got it.
If I wished I was smoking weed at the time
because you would have.
I think it would have helped balance it.
Got it.
A little bit more, or at least I would have been a little bit more creative.
Yeah.
So I think the depression for me, it was the compilation of all the deaths and COVID, quarantine.
Yep.
And then, I had a baby coming, a new baby. And then I just had a shit storm of things happen. And then and at the same time, my daughter was transitioning into a son. It was just like a lot. It was like of biblical proportions.
Yeah.
And when I break it down and I really look at it, and this was one of the things that helped save me, is I think you have to have perspective on where you're at and why this is happening. And I looked at all of it, and it was, instead of me being a victim in the journey, I was like, oh, I'm the hero in this. What's God teaching me? What am I preparing for? Okay, instead of worrying about how much I miss my parents, how about I show up as them for my next generation?
Yeah.
How about I put my energy to work instead of sitting there licking my wounds? There's so much. I got this big, great, beautiful family, and I'm gonna help be like the Kenan for these 47 kids.
Yeah.
And I gotta shepherd them. And so once I took on the hero role, the victim scurried away.
Do you think it has to be hero or victim? Because you know what I mean? Because I tend to feel sorry for myself a lot, and it's wrong. But I'm realizing, like, you're not a fucking victim.
Nothing's happening.
I'm not necessarily the hero. I don't go to hero. I just go to, like, things are great. But I don't have to, like, worry about offspring and shit like that.
You need a black female friend.
Go on.
Stop thinking like that.
No, I know.
That's some
well,
bullshit.
No.
White boy, you got some.
No, I know. There were two African black dudes
you need them.
who were very good with, like, why are you being like this?
Yeah.
Like, and it was, I didn't really hear them. I got out of it. Well, I'm just saying I don't go to hero.
We don't feel sorry a lot of times for ourselves as black people, right? It's like we don't have time for that.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, no. We gotta keep it moving. There's no time for that.
Yeah.
And I
but
guess
you were doing that.
I made time for it. COVID happened.
You made
COVID happened.
Black people make time for feeling self.
Yeah, and honestly, sometimes knowing that you're not checking in with yourself and not feeling good is okay. Because sometimes recognizing that, hey, I don't feel good, I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Now do something about it. I'm not saying I never had like suicidal thoughts. And then I had like 2 or 3 times that I was thinking it. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Where am I at right now? Hold up. I'm getting out of line. I'm getting out of whack. Hey, I need 2 appointments with the 2 therapists this week. I need to talk about this.
Yeah.
I need to get on. And so it's okay to check in with yourself. It's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to stay not okay.
Yeah.
Get meds, get help, do something.
Did you do meds?
No. I do great diet, I do working out, and I do healthy lifestyle, and that helps me. I haven't needed meds.
Can you walk me through the daughter transitioning thing and what? Because I've never really heard anyone. I know you talk about it in the special that I haven't watched yet.
No,
Good grief.
That's
you don't
not
talk about it.
That's not that one. That's actually the one I'm working on right now.
I'm curious as to, because the thing that my feeling about trans people in general is it's wrong. No, I'm kidding. My feeling about trans people is it's hard. It's a very hard thing for them to go through. And I wonder what it's like for you, and beyond like the cultural norms and the masculine stereotypes and all that shit. Is it what was it? What are the phases for you as a parent?
I learned that acceptance is everything, right? Yeah. And that, you know, when you're presented with certain things, it's not about the person, right? It's about you. Everything is always for you. Why are you feeling this way? You need to break ego. You need to break the fact that you think you can control things. This is part of your problem. This is why you're depressed. This is why you have anxiety, because you are trying to control and steer the ship when it's not in your control. And you're going to have to learn to lie back and trust God. And if you hit the ground, you're going to hit the ground. But if not, shut up and fall backward.
Trust God except for death. Once death is there.
I'm sleeping though.
You got to question God.
I'm sleeping.
My
there was a point I didn't. Now I'm sleeping. I'm like, fuck that. It's going to happen eventually.
Okay.
So I'm much better now.
Is the thing that you're talking about, the control part, isn't that part of parenting? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but there's a point in parenting.
How old is your daughter now?
My child's 23.
Okay.
24 now.
Okay.
And this was happening when they were 22, 23. And for me, like,
that's the let go time. That's like you're your own person now.
Yeah. But you know, you're trying to hold on, right? And you want this thing that's in your head, normalcy, and you're thinking about your grandchildren and all kinds of shit. And it's like, yo, it's not on me to think about none of that. This is their life, and they should be happy. And if they do this or they want to change back, or whatever they want to do, it's not on me to punch down on my child. It's on me to love my child. Period. That's all. All I could do is love my child, and that's what I do. Did you
try to talk them out of it?
Of course.
I
try to hypnotize that bitch.
I believe it.
No. I did. I was like, no, wait, hold on. And like I said, and I protested like against it. And you know, and I don't say that with pride.
Right.
I look back on those actions, and
it's funny how you can be
I'm ashamed.
so embarrassed by something you did 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like that was I was only 50.
Crazy. I was embarrassed the moment I was forced to look in the mirror. I was embarrassed. And it only took me a week.
About your behavior?
Yeah.
It took you a week to realize like you're doing this wrong?
The transition for me, because their transition was like a 3-year process, 4-year process.
Yeah.
My transition was a week, one hard week. And I will say, you know, I got to a beautiful place called acceptance. And I pray for a lot of parents, family members, and, you know, just public, right, people in general.
Yeah.
It's not on us to judge anybody, right?
Right.
It's, hey, man, live your life. And I tell my child, listen, I'm going to have my jokes, nigga. As long as you know I'm a comedian first.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a father first, a comedian second, and those two clash.
Yeah.
So, and they're like, you know, they know my heart, and they trust that I'm going to tell a great story, and it's a beautiful story, and I think I can't wait for people to see it.
But you're also pretty publicly an advocate for it.
Absolutely.
Like, so it's not like,
but it's not just for them. I went to performing arts high school. I have many gay people. I work in Hollywood. You know what I mean? I know many people in the LGBTQ, and it's not on me it's on me to just bring love, bring light. You know, I'm around my friends. They're my friends. Like, honestly, so I'm not going to make them feel weird as long as they don't make me feel weird when I crack jokes, because I'm going to crack my jokes. Yeah. Just like I crack white joke, black jokes, you know, gay jokes. I'm a comedian. So everybody gets it, including my family, including myself. We all get it.
How did you think you were going to stop? What are her pronouns?
He and they.
Okay. How did you think you were going to stop them from doing it? Did you have a plan?
Yeah. I was going to impose sanctions. Like the US
like I'm not giving you an allowance.
Exactly. She's imposing all those sanctions, and it was like, so what? Fuck it. I'll starve. Okay, well, then I'm gonna pull you out of school.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess 3.5 years at USC, I could get a job. Like, fuck, nothing was working. Yeah. Because this is what they wanted to do. They were, and you know, I always said, I want my kids to be happy. Mm-hmm. In order to be happy,
well, here it is.
You're not gonna please everybody.
Mm-hmm. So you tried, and you just finally were like, "This is stupid," and I got to accept it.
Yeah, I gave it a shot. That's how I felt. I gave it a good old scout try.
Did you think about your parents, and did you know what I mean? Did you think about like, what would mommy think? What would dad like? Did you think that shit?
No, my father would definitely have been against it, but as much as he would have been against it, he would have never stopped loving my child. My mother, you know, she'd have been like, I don't know why you want a beard, but you know, you still look just like me. Yeah, that baby's brilliant. My mother was like, out of all the kids, that one's just like me. Yeah. She looked like me. She talked like me. She can act like me. I'm like, does she pussy like you?
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. What's something that scares you? I have a fear of failure. I've had a fear of commitment. Therapy is a great tool for facing your fears and finding ways to overcome them, because sometimes the scariest thing is not facing our fears in the first place and holding ourselves back as a result. I've been to therapy. I talk about it every week. One of the guests talks about it every week. I swear by it. It really helped me. I wouldn't endorse it if it didn't. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Overcome your fears with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/NEAL today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/Neal. What do you think Tupac would be doing right now if he were alive?
I think he would be deep into politics, but from his perspective, Pac was one of those dudes that probably would have or could have run for president and actually got votes.
Yeah.
Could have won. Like, he's that, if it wasn't for all the stuff that he was, even with that, Pac was a super human. He was a Nova, man. Pac was Prince at 24, right? I know all these dope ass people, man, and you just go, you know it when you know it. Pac was just, he was special. He would probably be dropping his, 40th album because he was a writer.
You had a big post about, like, with the Drake and Kendrick thing where you were like, hey, people get murdered.
Yeah.
In this.
Yeah.
Because you were at the tunnel and all that. You were friends with Biggie and Tupac.
Yeah. I saw, first of all, Pac, I did Above the Run with Tupac.
Players on. Yeah, I'm a player, you know me. Fucking good player, the wheelchair lady.
I got cool with him because I used to go down to the set of Juice because Omar Epps is my best friend since like we were kids. So I would go down to the set and me, him, and Pac got real cool. And we used to hang out. And what we identified with, we were all very similar. Like, we're from the hood, but we're not of the hood, but we are. Like, we could touch it, we could live that life, but we choose not to because we're performing arts high school kids. We're trying to run away from the muck. Right. Pac just kept getting sucked back in. So the three of us hung out a lot. And when Pac hung it out with us, we would laugh. And if Pac, you told a joke and you had one up on him, he was gonna get one up on you. He had to be the funniest. If he was fighting, he had to have the most punches. He was always that guy. And I saw Pac 20 minutes before he got shot. Me and Omar and Mitchell, my other friend went to Performing Arts High School with, was in at the Luxor, getting into a cab. And Tupac was getting into that BMW. And he had all these people around him. And Suge and all
were you still seeing him every once in a while?
Yeah, we saw him with them, and I was like, "Come on, guys, let's just keep going." Yeah. I turned to the white guy.
Our cab's great.
He's busy.
Yeah.
And Omar's like, "Nah, fuck that. We're gonna go say what's up." I was, you sure about this? I'm gonna trust your dark skin instincts. And then we went over, and Omar said, "What's up?" And we gave hugs, and I said, "What's up?" And we sat there and we talked and we laughed. And then their car pulled up, and we said our goodbyes, and we got in the car. And then on our way there, 20 minutes later, we heard he got shot. And we thought he was gonna make it. Yeah, we had no idea he was gonna pass because he had been through so much already. And then Biggie, I saw at the Automotive Museum because I know Puff and all those guys for years. So, because I went to Howard University. Yeah. So I saw them going up the escalator and Living Color was on. And Biggie was like, "Yo, I love you and your brother's shit." And then 20 minutes later, bah, 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 and Biggie died. And I went to the hospital and Puff and all of them was outside crying. And it was like, oh shit. And then flip back to 10 years or 15 years prior. There's a picture. I remember Pac called me out to come hang out. And him and Biggie were performing at Glam Slam, which was Prince's club downtown. There's a famous picture with Tupac and Biggie. And if you look in the corner, there's a young Marlon Wayans in the corner just like twisting my head.
Yeah. It wasn't 15 years. It was like 5 years or something, right? Because 15 would have been the 80s.
I don't know.
Yeah, but
it's all a dream.
Yeah,
you get to be
exactly.
I'm 52. To me, they just died yesterday. Yeah. So, man, that was
what you're saying is you're a bad luck charm.
I am.
Guys, if you're around Marlon Wayans, you're about to get shot.
Duck. 20 minutes and duck. But what I was saying to Kendrick and Drake is like, y'all be aware of your words. Be aware of the power of your words. I knew both these greats. Yeah. Take your egos out of this. Save your life and be an example for all these other kids because shit gets real. And then it compiles. And now look at what happened at Drake's house. And it's just like, yo, y'all got to shake hands and let it be love because at the end of the day, this is just art, man.
But you know, it takes a long time. The older you get, the easier it is to drop shit.
I ain't got no beef with nobody, man.
No, but I'm saying when you're 20 in hip hop,
When your knees are good.
yeah, exactly. Yes, when you can scrap with anybody at any time, and you're like when it.
KRS-One ain't fighting anybody.
Yeah,
right
exactly.
now.
So it's like, I'm sure even if you could talk to them now, it would be like, no, for a while it's like fuck them, fuck them, fuck them, but then eventually they would have come to like, man, that was a fucking waste of time. That was a huge mistake.
Stupid.
Yeah,
I seen it swirling out of control, and I was just like, y'all don't see what's happening here. I knew it was gonna get dark. I just knew it, and I started to feel it with this Drake and Kendrick thing, and I was like, listen, I'm gonna say something. Call me the old man in the room.
Yeah,
but if I can just be like, hey, young man, hey, young man,
young blood. Yeah.
I think you're both great. I think everybody's great, and I think J. Cole, to me, he gets all my respect.
For being like, I'm not, this is
I ain't
not
fucking with none of this. This ain't my spirit. I thought that was that was some grown man shit. I was like, he has to have some gray dick hair. That was a gray dick hair moment.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Where it's just like, you just go, what the fuck am I doing?
What the fuck?
I'm gonna make mean rhymes about people that I love.
Yeah, stupid.
That's the lamest shit I ever did in my fucking life, right?
You have, you don't like confrontation in relationships.
No.
You've been married? Or you have how many baby mothers?
Only 2.
Okay.
And 3 children.
Is it the same issue?
No.
So how do you just avoid confrontation? Like you don't start it, or you
don't like
try to?
I just don't like to argue. I just like to have fun.
Yeah.
I just want to have fun. All I want to do is have fun. I don't argue. I don't want to talk about a relationship. If I got to talk about the relationship, then we're not in the relationship. We're walking through your anxiety and through your fears. Because if you're in this relationship, then you're loving me, you're hugging me, you're touching me, we're holding hands, we're laughing together. All this talk about this, no, you're giving me anxiety. I don't want to argue. I just want to smile. And if I'm 52 and God blesses me to live another 20 years, that means I got more days behind me than I do ahead of me. I'm not letting anybody waste not one fucking moment of my life. I'm gonna enjoy this ride. And if I need to be alone to enjoy it, then that's what will happen. But what you will not do is strap me with all your shit and make me responsible for
your history.
Yo shit.
Yeah.
Go get your therapy.
Or how about you actually fucked up?
And that's easy. I'm like, oh, I fucked up. My bad.
You are easy to admit.
My bad. I'll do better. I'll do better.
You understand that, I mean, I don't want to defend fighting, but certain things have to be discussed.
A discussion is fine, but when you start emotionally investing in what you're saying and projecting that on me, and I start feeling a certain way, we gonna talk. We can talk like this. If me and you could talk like this, if I could talk like this in a relationship, I could do this all day, all day. I'm fine with that. But when you start crying and you start putting that shit is heavy, like whoa, where the fuck did this come from? Like, let's just talk.
Do you feel
when it's
like
heated? I leave because I don't want to say anything mean.
Yeah,
and I'm protecting you. I hate when people try to make me talk. Do you understand? I'm trying to cool off because I'm a comedian, and the things that I say can be so dark and so hurtful. And my father warned me about that as a kid, and I trusted him because my mother had the sharpest tongue in the West, boy.
Yeah.
The shit she'd say, and my father'd be crying. He'd be like, you watch what you say. You have that gift or that curse. Don't talk when you're mad.
Did your parents stay married?
Yeah. I don't know if they stayed happy, but
well, that's
actually they were fucking until the end.
Yeah.
They just was on separate coasts. And my dad one day was like, because we thought they was over because they argued so much. And my dad one day was like, y'all took my girl. What do you mean? You took my girl to Cali? I said, bro, y'all wasn't even fucking. He goes, what are you talking about, Jack? I was banging that out.
Wow. Well, how many?
He was like,
kids,
really? Yeah. I was like,
God
wow.
bless. So what people? I'm betting people don't like that.
What?
You
they hate it.
Not engaging.
I will engage. I need
Just
some
after
time.
a certain volume and tone.
I need some time. I just feel like if we get here, you can feel when the temperature's rising. You can feel when it's not, when it's toxic. Let's just calm down. Like, why do we have to resolve this right now? Let's just calm down and let's talk tomorrow. Let's table it.
Has anybody come around to that philosophy? Do you know what I mean? Like they initially were like, no, we need to talk it out. We need to get heated. And then we're like, you know what? I've never done this before. This is great.
My first children's mother, I think she gets it.
Yeah.
I've probably met her, like we talk. Every now and then we'll have like an argument, but we probably, even then, when we had our worst times, like she might have cursed me out in front of the kids maybe 2 or 3 times. And I was just like, I don't want to argue in front of my kids. That's a soft spot for me because my parents used to argue in front of me and I used to feel like it was my fault.
Yeah.
And so I never wanted my kids to feel
and your
that
brothers
way.
told you it was. You know that's your fault.
It's your fault.
Yeah. And so you were like, I'm not going to do that?
Not gonna
do
do
the
that.
kids, do you ever talk to the kids about it?
Yeah.
I'm always curious what they think, what they thought was going on.
They love the fact that I didn't give them my issues. They were allowed to have their peace.
Yeah.
They grew up in their peace, their environment, their love. They know they were loved. Like absolutely. I never wanted to give them trauma. Whatever trauma you go through, I don't want to be the cause of that. I just want to give you love. And same thing for me. I'm not here to heal your trauma. That's not what a relationship is. To me, I don't think that's a therapist's job. That's your job. I just met you. I've only known you this amount of time.
Yeah.
Why am I assuming responsibility for everything that happened for you in those 35 years? All I am is a man that wants to love you. Will you let me?
Yeah.
All this other shit? Oh, that ain't me. So,
Did anyone ever say like, no, we need to have this argument?
Oh, yeah.
And you must have been like, I'm leaving.
Yep. I got in my car.
And blew your phone up. Text, call.
I disappear for 2 days. I'll call when it's time. I'll call you after we calm down, because otherwise, that's how domestic violence and things like that start, right? I see the forest through the trees. I go, okay, we're in this topic, we're in this conversation, it's getting heated. What's the worst thing that could happen?
Yeah.
And then I gotta go. Why? Because in 52 years, I've been famous 33 years. You don't read a lot of bullshit about me.
Yeah.
Because I don't do a lot of bullshit. You have to be mindful of what you do. And me as a parent, I'm going to honor that. So if you think I want to throw all that I am and all I love under a bus because you want to have this toxic conversation right now in this toxic way, screaming and throwing stuff, no, I don't have to.
And then when you come back, are they like, you were right to leave? Or they're still mad?
No, when they come back and there's like wine on my walls and furniture ripped up and
shame I wasn't here for this.
But I have it. Have at it. Have at all it. I don't care. But what I'm not gonna do is put myself in a position where I could, have a toxic confrontation with you. For what? I think that's respectful. Just because if you know you can't talk about something right now in an honest way, why the fuck talk about it?
Yeah.
Let's just wait. And then we could come to the table and talk like this. All right.
And they say you're avoidant and all that.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I am.
I am.
Good.
Yeah. But I still got my house.
Yeah, great. Yeah, it's worked so far.
Still haven't seen a jail cell. Don't know what it looks like.
Are you trying to get better with that? Or you think that that's the best?
Can I pee?
No, we're almost done.
Fuck.
You're doing a podcast now.
Damn.
We don't pee on podcasts.
We don't pee on podcasts.
Joe Rogan goes 3.5 hours. You got what it takes?
I think he has space Pampers on. There's no way.
No, for real. It is wild. Although I made him piss last time. Are you trying to get better with the non-confrontation? Or that's
yes.
like that. Okay, so you are trying to find a middle ground.
Yes.
What is it? Ideally, what is it?
When I start feeling that thing, that means calm it down. Don't wait so long. And talk about it.
Don't wait 2 days.
No.
10 minutes?
About a half hour, 45, maybe 2 hours.
You go to your
By the end
go
of
to
the
a
bed,
room.
by the end
shut
of the,
the door.
bed, yeah. By the end of the day, you know, you good. Or just find people that don't argue. They actually have them. They don't argue. They're just now they may lose their mind, but they don't argue. They're peaceful people.
Yeah.
There's people that are actually peaceful people, you know. And I've been lucky and I've been blessed, and then I've been cursed, and you know it is what it is. But it's all lessons. Can I pee?
OCD with clothes, and then we're out of here.
Yeah, I think because I'm dirty as hell. I'm not dirty. I'm messy. Like I'll mess the same places. Like I'll get out my clothes and leave them in the bathroom on the floor. You know, my underwear right there. No, I wear black underwear. Don't trip. Not even that, but I wash my ass after every shit. Like that. I'm OCD with that. Every last single one. I have to. I just.
Great. It's nothing special going on.
Huh?
There's nothing. That's not a big
Some
deal.
people don't do that, especially men. They just think that's like.
You got a bidet?
Nah.
You should.
I got a bidet toilet when I'm
That's what I'm
Japanese
saying.
total joints.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying.
I use that. That's the warm up. I got soap.
Oh, then you follow
water,
that up?
and shower.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So then I'm OCD with my clothes because it's like when I came up, I used to work in sneaker stores and I used to work in Barney's, New York. And so to me, rich wasn't cars and watches. And to me, clothes made you rich, made you feel rich when you put the clothes on. So I've always been big on clothes. And even when I pack my clothes, I have to have them packed a certain way and a certain tightness. And in my house, I like them color coordinated, and I'm emptying out and getting rid of a bunch of stuff because I really want to live a minimalist lifestyle, and it's going to be very neat.
If you don't do it, what happens?
What?
If you're not OCD, because OCD implies that you will get anxious.
I can't create. I can't create. My mind just goes. But when I clean and I get everything there, then my brain just because my brain. I feel like it's a dirty desktop.
Mm.
But when I see the dirty desktop in my house and I start cleaning it, I start cleaning the files in my head.
Yeah.
And just living in accordance. And for me, that's just the way it works. And I want to be a minimalist in terms of clothes because I realized I went through a shopping phase.
Yeah. 20 years?
Yeah. And I collected so much stuff. I had the best clothes. Now I want to get rid of shit. I don't want nothing.
Yeah.
I literally don't want nothing. I'm rebuilding.
Did you give it away? You sold it?
Huh?
Give it away? You sold it?
Combination.
Yep.
So I'm rebuilding my house right now, and the closet is going to be very small.
Yeah.
So I don't want a big closet. I'm not going to take a room and turn it into a closet. This is what I have. These are the sneakers. I own 1,500 to 2,000 pairs of sneakers. I'm getting rid of all them shits. I only got two feet. I'm have about 25 to 30 shoes. That's all.
That's still a lot.
It's not compared to 1,800.
No, of course.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a crazy, man.
Well, it's a waste of time. It's something else
It's
happening.
crazy. I would tell you I was going through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have them boxed and all that shit?
Yeah.
So you can sell them for money, probably. I'm sure
Probably.
there's like a good
Occupy,
Jordans and
yeah,
shit.
but I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
no, I
we'll
know.
see. Maybe we'll come across something like, oh my God, I didn't know this
Yeah.
baseball card was worth.
Yeah. Honus Wagner. All right, you can pay. It was great talking to you, man.
You too, bro.
It was. I've always been interested in you,
No.
and I continue to be. What are you
Thank
What
you.
are you trying to improve?
Everything. Always as an artist, but mostly as a man. Work on my patience, stay in the pocket, not care about the parties, not care about the silence. Simplicity, quiet, learning in conversation, reading more, listening to great people that inspire me to be greater, and really thinking about my branding and my business and what I'm going to build and teach my kids along the way so they could build their ultimate happiness, not business. Business and success does not make you happy. I think you have to have all those components like in alignment so that when you go through devastation, there's a balance.
Yeah.
And you can always get back. You're going to teeter. Just get back to center. I want to get back to center quicker.
Marlon Wayans, ladies and gentlemen.
My God.
Please, we're going to follow you to the bathroom where I'll go.
Thank you.